Namaste, gods, goddesses, and emissaries of light. This is Dr. Shreya Tyen. And if you are new to my channel, please like, subscribe, and do not forget to hit that notification bell so you can be updated by my latest and my current videos. Welcome, everyone. This is a topic of discussion that could trigger some of you. So this is a trigger alert. I just want to say that from the onset. Now, let me start with talking about a post that I decided to put on my community page that have triggered many divine feminines. And this post within itself, there is nothing wrong with the picture. It's just an older lady who has single and ready to mingle. And I use this as an example for divine feminines not to wait on their divine masculines. You know, the people have been telling me that that picture was disrespectful. No, you're disrespectful. The way that you view it is disrespectful. I'm not disrespectful. The picture's not disrespectful. I've done nothing to you. The picture has done nothing to you. So you have to get to the point where you have emotional intelligence with yourself. Okay? And ask yourself, what is it about this picture that triggers you? All it is an older lady that says that she was single and ready to mingle. Is this a personal picture that I chose of you to place on my board? No. You guys, it is time. You know what? And I'm going to weigh my words carefully. I'm not upset. And nor am I triggered. I'm very concerned about who's following me. Because for most of us, we can comprehend the truth in this picture. We've been on our journeys for quite a long time. You're speaking to someone who is a pioneer in this. I've been on this twin flame journey for over 11, pushing 12 years. So I think that I can consider myself also an expert. Because I have 3D union with my masculine. Okay? I've been through the separation process. I've been through the gaslighting and the ghosting. All of that. There has been moments where we all have been triggered. What do our emotional triggers say about us? Have you ever experienced a moment when someone jokingly makes a comment that's not a big deal or a huge deal to others, but immediately it destabilizes you for the rest of the day or for that moment? And suddenly you find yourself fixated on that very thing that triggered you. You can feel that it's a variety of negatively charged emotions such as sadness, shame, anxiety, or even anger. Does that resonate with you? I am sure this will not be your last, and I'm certainly sure that this is not the first time that you've been triggered. What are emotional triggers? Let's talk about that. First of all, we know that emotions are painful, and it's a painful topic of discussion in and out of itself. They are real, subjective, present, and definitely the main driving forces in our everyday lives. We feel our emotions, which is energy and motion, on a daily basis. And sometimes they take precedence over our rational mind and cause us sometimes to act irrational. So you can imagine the nightmare that your emotional triggers can cause. According to various research, a trigger is defined as an experience of an emotional reaction to something based on one's past history. And we know that triggers can come in many forms, you guys. It can come from a specific person, certain words, a picture on a social media, environmental stimuli, a situation, or even an opinion of someone can cause or provoke in us an intense emotional reaction. When this happens, our brain is telling us that we are re-experiencing something unpleasant that has happened in the past. It's like a flight or fight response. Our emotional responses become very highly charged, and before we are aware of it, we're reacting. All right? That fight or flight automatically takes the front wheel, and we act out based on our past experiences, trying to protect ourselves or defend ourselves. You may ask, why do I care so much when I can simply avoid triggering altogether? Most of the time, you guys, we react abruptly towards our triggers. And since the trigger causes stress and distress in our emotions, our fight or flight coping mechanism kicks in. And as we try to defend ourselves or shield ourselves from, any perceived damages that we feel like this trigger can cause, that kind of reaction is problematic, you guys. It's not healthy. And we can end up jeopardizing our relationships with others. And it actually can get you blocked on this channel. Seriously. The reason why I haven't blocked the people that have been triggered is because as a doctor, I understand psychology and I understand it. But most YouTubers would not have put up with that. It's my channel. I can put what I want on here. If you don't like it, bye. Nothing about that picture is disrespectful. Can you imagine if it was that disrespectful? Then I would not have had the numerous comments amongst those that were triggered. Only a couple of people, only 2 people were triggered. Go read the comments. Go to that section. There was nothing disrespectful about that picture. The reason why you found it disrespectful is because you've been waiting on your masculine. And then you've seen that truth. This could be you. So that's why you got upset. Because you're not listening to Source when Source said let go. Because if you was listening to Source and you seen that picture, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's definitely relatable. I've done that. Because that's exactly what I said when I saw that picture. And the reason why I am in 3D union, 5D union, in every dimension of union with my twin is because I didn't wait. I love him, but I will never wait on nobody. And I don't expect you to do the same. Learning how to identify with our emotional triggers is one of the most healthiest things that you can acquire. Only by tackling and unpacking these emotional baggages that are triggers can we not hinder our own ability to fully function and show up in our lives. It is not my responsibility, it's no one else's responsibility outside of yours to control your emotions. 1, when you're triggered, recognize that you're triggered. In most cases, people are not aware that they are triggered, and in response to any emotional triggering, we normally overreact or we act out of spite, and it can lead us to regrets later. When we realize that unintentionally we hurt others' feelings or We may have even hurt ourselves. Case in point, imagine this scenario, okay? What if you're single and a relative asked you, why are you still single? Or a friend innocently asks, why aren't you married? Or why don't you have a job yet when you lost your job because of COVID? But they're still asking you, well, there's people hiring everywhere. Why aren't you employed? You feel ashamed. You feel guilty, hurt, frustrated, and then you might overreact. You may not know what you're going to say to them because you're triggered. But be mindful of your feelings and other people's feelings in a process, you guys. Recognize that you are not in your right form of mind because you just have been triggered, and think before you respond. Notice I said respond. Because you need to make out the time to respond instead of reacting to your trigger right away. Pause and take a deep breath. Identify yourself as being emotionally triggered at that moment. And give yourself time to regain control over your emotions and your thought processes. And ask yourself, how can I heal through this? What do I need to do in order to not be emotionally triggered by this? Don't bury it away. Be open about it. Talk to someone about it if you have to. But ask yourself this: why did I feel how I felt about this? And why did I react in that way? Self-reflection is key here, everyone. It's key to understanding your own emotional triggers, your own emotional intelligence. Like the Greek philosopher Aristotle once said, to know yourself is the beginning of wisdom. You must understand the root of your own triggers in order to reprogram those negative beliefs and unhealthy coping mechanisms. You can't just, go to someone and say that they're disrespecting you when they're not. Because you're making that person responsible for what whoever hurt you in the past has done to you. And that's not fair. Yes, I know it's human nature to get defensive when things don't go quite as we expected. We can get too caught up by the pain and lose the ability to listen and understand what is being conveyed and what is being said. Most importantly, we'll miss the reactions and our outbursts and what they really mean and what our soul on a soul level is really trying to communicate with us. The goal here is to rewire your thought process and question yourself. And that will help you to lead to self-discovery. That will help you to, overturn the traumas and the unresolved traumas that are buried deep down inside. After all, an emotional trigger is a trap on your shoulder to ask for healing for unresolved trauma. Some of you need to seek clarity that looks totally different for a lot of people. Some may want to, talk to a trusted friend, a family member, or even seek professional help. Bottling up your emotions will not solve your problems. Obviously, you've bottled up some feelings and emotions, okay? While seeking help, it is important to stay open and to listen to what the other person has to say. One common cognitive bias, namely confirmation bias, is that we choose to hear what we want to hear and see what we want to see and overlook what is actually being said and conveyed. Especially with emotional triggers, which are deep rooted and deep seated within our own crevices of our mind and our body. The memories of the past traumas. We think that our beliefs and our actions are reasonable and valid because this is how we were taught. Without keeping an open mind, confirmation bias may cloud our ability to grasp the reality of what is being conveyed. Therapy is a process, not an express path to accelerating and getting the outcome that you want without going through looking at your personal demons and confronting them, which is known as shadow work. It is a form of self-love as you choose to abandon the old unhealthy coping habits of choosing outbursts, emotional outbursts, or choosing to be judgmental. Bear in mind that self-love is an intentional practice that doesn't come overnight. It takes conscious effort, you guys, time, support from those around you. It's an entire process within itself. So now it's time to take it step by step and one step at a time. Please go heal divine feminines that need to heal. Do not accuse others that are on the outside that are here as mentors trying to help you, because you have emotional baggage you haven't unpacked yet. And that is my message. Namaste.